Welcome, friends and enemies, to episode 88 of the Adventures of the Maid Glorious. We've got everybody here. We've got Adam.
Hello.
We've got Jess.
Hello.
We've got Kathryn.
Hello.
We've got Simon.
Hi.
And we've got Ed.
Hello.
Last time, you were still on board the city of Eilenar, looking for leads on where the meeting was going to take place, and also trying to track down Vigo, as you had been told by Manchun, the person who had sent you on this mission, that he would be the more useful, in inverted commas, spy that would get him the information whilst you were the distraction. You managed, with Juniper's keen sense of smell and with Truffle's keen sense of sight, I should add, to track down an individual who, whilst not looking like Vigo, smelt like Vigo. He led you on not necessarily a chase, but on a path through the city to a strange building with a plant archway outside. You all went inside one after the other, though Elsie went first and found herself in the dark and speaking to a strange individual that she could not see. Vigo apparently not there. After a little while, the rest of you went in and found yourselves magically separated and were spoken to by the same person who inhabited this place, who turned out to be a rather large fruit bat, ostensibly called Old, who, after some deliberation and conversation, gave you the location of the meeting and also some prophetic musings on what was going to happen, as well as partaking in some of Flint's yoghurt. And Flint brought back some fruit as payment, but also you paid for it with gold. You then tracked Vigo to a side alley where he was leading in such a way that his illusion was going halfway through the wall, clearly having forgotten that the illusion was up, and decided that you would go back to the inn where you were staying and have a conversation. So you are on your way there. Is there anything you would like to do on your way, or are we heading straight to your place of rest?
Just to double check, the name of so we found out it's Aster's Archividium.
Yes.
And that's where the meeting is happening.
Yes, and okay. Aster is spelt, in case anybody was wondering, A-S-T-O-R.
First try.
I know Simon would probably have liked it if it was spelled A-double-S, given that he laughed the last time I pronounced it. You did, don't give me that look, Simon.
Oh, no, I'm sure I did. I don't think it was butt related. I can't remember. I think it was, did you say it in the bat voice?
Yes. Was it the bat voice? Oh, okay. Probably. Okay.
The bat voice.
Bring me a strawberry. I loved that voice so much.
I know you did. There have been various requests to keep the bat. Right, so are you talking whilst on your way, or are you just heading straight there?
I feel like we probably want to kind of make it not look suspicious. So presumably we're keeping a bit of a distance.
Okay, so are you trying to be stealthy, or are you trying to give the impression that you are not really following each other and just happen to be going in the same direction?
I would say that one.
Okay, I will say make a performance check then.
Because we're here openly to discuss our franchise
I would
business.
say because the group is helping you, you don't all need to make a performance check. Erallur can make one with advantage. If you want to go down that route, if you would prefer to make individual ones, you can.
I need to leave it to Erallur.
Yeah, I think it's like a group effort, so it makes sense to have one roll for the group rather than...
Well, I rolled a natural 20 plus 4.
Because we're amazing. Well done, everybody. Session over. We killed it.
You win D&D!
I mean, we all won, obviously.
So, it is entirely convincing. Nobody gives you a second look. Vigo seems to be perfectly happy with this arrangement.
He starts to question whether we're even friends.
Doesn't hesitate, doesn't glance back. You head through the different tiers of the city back towards your place of staying. Did you decide that you were going to go into one of the rooms, or were you going to have the conversation at the benches?
I believe we talked about using a room.
Okay, yeah. So they're not terribly large, so you'd have to go in and be a little bit cramped, but you could all fit in there.
It's a secret meeting. It's got to be cramped.
Okay.
I'm very small, so it's
This is
fine.
true. Vigo is
And I'm
also
the biggest.
yeah. Vigo is also quite small. Maud and Elsie are quite small as well.
I'm quite small.
Yeah. Saluk's not much taller than Flint, so
We've said this before. Erallur is the Michael Caine to our Christmas Carol.
yeah.
You can all sit on one bed and I'll go and sit on the other one.
Yeah, you like completely lounge out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are installed in this rather sparse room with the heating orbs gently caressing you with warmth.
You mean the heaters?
I seem to. Was that related to them, or was that related to something else?
Yes.
I'm sure it was related to the heating crystals.
It was related.
Because they were for heating rather than for
That's
light.
what it was. It's because I didn't pronounce "for" clearly
It's because
enough.
they were for heaters.
Yeah. It's just I've been editing that episode today and didn't come across that.
People
bit yet.
listening are going to be like, why do they find this so funny every single time?
Oh no, I'm keeping that shit in. Like they'll understand. They just won't find it as funny as us.
Oh.
I think it's the time apart, and then we come back and I get reminded of it.
So you are ensconced in the chamber, and Vigo takes a small stone out of their pocket, and you see their arm move through the illusion, and then the illusion fades to reveal the short, bearded form of Vigo before you.
Is that the small stone related to the illusion then?
Seems to be, yes.
Okay. Mhm.
And then puts it back in his pocket.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah, you knew that, right?
Yeah.
So you wanted to talk?
We were looking for help, potentially.
Right. What kind of help?
Do you know why we're here?
I know bits and pieces. Something about you being a distraction whilst I did the real work, but that's about it.
Mm. That sounds about accurate.
I
But we
mean,
thought while we were being a distraction, we could maybe also do some real work as well.
that works for me. I mean, sorry if I don't, when I say real work, I don't mean to diminish your role in this or anything. I'm a little, this feels wrong to me. I don't think that Manchun has been entirely honest with any of us, ever. But I don't think he was terribly happy with me when I came back without the sword or the cup, even though he said that he was giving the sword up to you. I think he may be hoping that this will remove two thorns from his side, so to speak.
What, you think he's hoping that we just get killed off?
Yeah.
Mm.
And if we are one of the thorns and our target is the other,
No, I'm the other.
you the other thorn.
Yeah. He doesn't really like the work that I've done for him the past few months, so.
So he's not interested in the information he sent us to gather.
I mean, if we are successful, he'll play it off like that, but
If
I
you
have.
do not trust him and you do not think he likes your work, why did you go back to begin with?
Because if I didn't, then he would hunt me down and kill me.
And what about if you do not go back after this?
Probably hunt him down and kill him.
Most likely, yeah.
So do you want to be killed by him or by whoever we're seeing here?
I don't know, to be honest. I'd prefer not to die at all, of course, but in terms of spectacular ways to go, I suppose dying on a city that's not existed for thousands of years, there are worse ways.
But
Well,
on the
we
other
could
hand-
make it more interesting, though. You could fall to your death from the floating city that's not been here for a while. Like,
Yeah, they have magical wards to stop people falling off.
hmm,
It'd be kind of stupid if they didn't.
true.
We could fake all of our own deaths.
Fake them from Manchun.
Mhm.
This magic that would stop a man from falling, would it stop someone from trying to fly out of the city?
I don't know. I can't fly, so I haven't tested it. But that's a good question.
Or Salute may have to
presume-
rethink his plans. And Salute, still listening to the conversation, but will draw within himself and start spilling around in his pack to get out his usual dual-crafted fiddly stuff.
I mean, I presume that you can fly in and out of the city.
They seem quite protective over how people get in and out.
Yeah, but mages, quite a few of them can fly, and they seem to be in charge here. So maybe it's a weird mage-based class thing that if you're a citizen of the city, then you can come and go as you please, but the rest of us can't. I don't
We
know.
are part of the rest of us. And the problem with people with power is they tend to like to cage those without it.
I used to be able to fly.
But you
Did you?
can't. You can't now.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Can't remember why I gave it up. What did I give? Oh, I gave it to the guy in the shop, didn't I? Yeah.
You have not flown once since I have met you. What happened?
Well, I mean, I didn't like to do it much anyway. It was sort of painful.
Oh,
I had a lute and I could fly with the lute, and then I had to give it up to an ancient creature.
I don't think I knew you could fly with the loot.
I could levitate, which is essentially flying.
Yeah.
Fly with style.
It's
Luke leans in with a worried look and half whispers, "Do you think Saluk will have to give up his flying if he carries on with this group?"
Who knows?
I
Probably.
think only if your flying comes from an object.
Like wings.
Are my wings an object?
Mine didn't come from an object.
Thought it came from your magical feather.
Yeah. Which was embedded in my arm.
Hmm.
My feathers are embedded in me.
Better be really careful.
I feel like
Nice.
I feel like we're getting off topic.
Are we?
And then Maud pipes up and goes, "Flying and levitating are not the same thing." And Vigo just places his fingers either side of his nose.
Vigo, do not despair about this situation with Manchur. What you have to remember is that if he has two fawns he was trying to get rid of, then that is two fawns with which we can poke him in the hand.
Yeah.
That is the
Which
phrase, yes?
which hand? The metal one or the flesh one? Because the metal one.
You cut the metal one off with one thorn and use the other one to stab him in the flesh.
Or the fawns in the eyes.
Where?
You bypass the hands and you go straight for the eyes.
Straight for the eyes. I
And
agree.
with two of them, that's both eyes.
I missed you guys. So you needed help. You know the location. What kind of help were
Yes.
you hoping for? A way in or?
Maybe less help and more just we should probably communicate.
Yeah,
Do you know where specifically in this building?
not specifically, though I presume there's at least one meeting room, and knowing our luck, it's probably right at the bottom.
Mhm.
What's your end goal from your side? What does Manchun want you to gain from this meeting?
He would like to know why the lady is holding the meeting, who is there, why she wants to talk to them, what about, and how she knew what to do and plan the meeting on Eilenar in the first place, given that it's only been back a few short weeks.
So all the same things as us, I think.
Essentially, I assume, given that ostensibly we're on the same mission.
We cannot find out any of these things until we get into the meeting room.
Yeah. On that point, with the meeting being just over a 10-day away, I think it might make sense for at least one of us, and I'm speaking either just me or your group or one of you, depending on what we decide, to try and get in there earlier. I think it might be easier to lay in wait than get in there on the day of the meeting.
Do you know when the meeting is?
It's about 13 days from now, I think.
Okay, that's more than we knew, I think.
What kind of building is this in terms of what it houses?
From the bits and pieces that Old told me, it seems to be not dissimilar to the Undermountain in that it's carved into the stone of the city that it levitates upon, but much smaller and more of a arcane storage facility almost, and laboratory experimentation place, but less alchemic and more arcane.
I don't know if I like that.
No, I didn't either when I heard.
Well, there's a lot of us to try and get into one meeting. I think you're right. We maybe need to do some planning ahead.
And if you are happy with being the distraction, but hoping not to be, it might be an idea if I went on ahead, but I can understand if you'd prefer that I didn't.
Maybe you and one of us.
That could work.
I've met the lady. Flint's met the lady. Erallur's met the lady. But nobody else has met the lady. So they should go inside, maybe.
That makes sense.
Elsie, that was weird. I heard my voice before I felt it come out of my mouth. Something to do with being plugged into these microphones.
We will.
Kathryn, you're not meant to be becoming Erallur with all the timey-wimey stuff. You're just so in character.
Elsie, you're sneaky.
Yes.
Saluk, are you sneaky?
Do you mean in the insult way or in the skill way?
Can you be quiet and hide places?
So Luke can be quiet.
Are 3 people too many to go in?
It depends how much you want to split us up. It depends whether we think that that might be tipping our hand a little bit too much. Again, the lady seems like a very aware person, and I imagine she has anticipated that there may be other interested parties whom she has not invited to this. Whether that means that changes how many of us go in initially or how many of us go in later, I don't know. I'm happy to work with any of you. I know most of you, and he eyes Maud a little bit, but we've worked well in the past, so...
I think either way, if you're going in with others, maybe we could coordinate it so that you're still technically on your own. You go in from different angles, because the whole point is if one of us get caught, then we can't be pinned to each other.
That's true, and Old did say that there were multiple entrances. I think the word they used was labyrinthine.
Mm. So maybe the more entrances we use, the more chance we'll have to find it?
Are you suggesting all of us go in different entrances to start with, or some of us go in different entrances and then a few others go in on the day of the meeting?
I definitely think we should try the place out before the day of.
Mm.
I don't think we should all be in there on the day of the meeting, because if we need to escape, we need as few people as possible to need to escape.
True. Do you think, I don't know, it's kind of up to you. As I say, I'm kind of happy to trust your judgment on this one. I work well alone. I'm happy for Elsie and or Saluk to come with me, / not with me.
Hey, the only thing I've decided is that I don't think it's a good idea if those of us that have met the lady go along.
Mm.
So if we're agreed on that, then I'm happy for someone else to have more of a specific plan.
Flint, how do you feel about giving him truffle for the company and for the connection?
It means that we can keep an eye on everything that's going on. Makes sense.
So,
And if we must have more than perhaps the sisters. You are a sneaky family.
thanks.
In the good way, not the insult way.
Okay, just checking.
And then if you get caught, then Truffle can just fly away.
Precisely.
So, Erallur, when you say those of you who've not met the lady shouldn't go in, do you mean at all?
It depends if we think she's there right now. I was more meaning on the day, but it's a fair point. She's there at the moment. It's also a risk, but it's a risk that's easier to play off. You know, we just happen to be there. If it's not on the day of the meeting, it's not as suspicious.
True. But I do feel that if any of us get caught in there and want to try fighting our way out, then the more of us, the better. But it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, really.
At least we'll know where they are with Truffle in.
True. If the initial group is all together, if Truffle's just with me, then that's an issue.
The thing that worries me is that if it is labyrinthine, as you say, I do not want to get lost on the ground. If we use truffle, we can maybe blot our path.
I mean, I've noticed that there are wards higher up to stop Truffle from flying around willy-nilly, but we could always see if there's any possibility that we can send him in first, gauge the place a little bit before we even think about going in.
Seems fair to me.
We could even make some kind of map.
Also true.
We have a long time.
Right. Over attending. It's more than enough time to come up with some kind of plan.
If we start as soon as possible, then we can know what we are going into. I like it.
What do we do about closed doors?
Closed doors aren't a problem for me.
I meant if we're sending in Truffle ahead of time, but I guess we could send both of you in ahead of time. Put a little saw on the front.
Why are these truffle-shaped holes in all our doors?
Well, I mean, Flint, if you're amenable, I could maybe teach him to use his beak to pick a lock.
Aye.
That might be the most useful thing he could ever possibly learn.
Oh, have to dodge fireballs is another.
Yeah, he hasn't learned that yet, though, has he?
Not enough practice.
Flint just nods and aye, that could work.
So the plan is send Truffle in first, see if he can find us a route down to the lowermost chambers, then get a few of us in, if it seems viable, ahead of time, and then on the day have a different crew, but not necessarily everyone, infiltrate in as a distraction.
Sounds about right.
Okay. So I need a bit of time with your bird, Flint.
All right. Take care of him and I hand him over.
And he cracks his knuckles and then says, anyone mind if I just pop into a different room? It's tricks of the trade, you understand.
I'll be watching.
So he hops out of the room. I don't like him.
Why not?
He's shifty.
Too familiar.
I believe his pain when he talks about Manchun. That makes me trust him more than I did.
I'd agree with that.
So if we all don't go in, then who's gonna go in? Because at the moment it's feeling like it's gonna be Elsie, Saluk, and me. And I'm not sure how comfortable I am with that.
Why?
Well, yeah, I'm very impressive and I'm very powerful and clearly the most powerful member of the group. But I just feel like if we've all been sent on the mission and there is the potential that this place is magically dangerous and that the lady is magically dangerous, then we should have as much firepower as possible.
More firepower means more people to discover. Shall we wait and see what we find when we send Truffle in? Because if we find out there's many threats, then yes, I agree.
If we can get in and out without being seen, then we can try that way. But the thing that worries me is that none of us planning to go in at the moment know magic. And not to mention that if we are
I know
underground,
magic, and Elsie knows magic. What are you talking about?
it
Perhaps
looks like that he's given like a middle distance stare because he genuinely can't remember.
Maud just holds out her hand and you see blue sparks dance across.
No, like proper magic, like what Erallur.
That is the nicest thing you've ever said about me.
The big things, the impressive light shows.
Never mind.
And not to mention that if we are underground, then I do not mean to sound cowardly, but Saluk cannot fly upwards and away while underground, and that worries me.
You see that Maud has turned an interesting shade of purple as she says, I could cook you like a chicken, bird boy.
you could, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I think I have angered her. I do not know why. I am sorry if I have said something to offend you.
That's not an apology. You know you said something to offend me. Apologize properly.
Maud, I am sorry.
There we go.
And to show that, I would like you to have this. And he rather
Quickly looks through his inventory.
chaotically, haphazardly looks through his bags and gives her a split bag of 1 day's worth of rations.
Thank you.
But it's given over with a sincerity that only a hunter-gatherer who wants to provide for his tribe could muster.
He doesn't seem to understand this.
I don't care. It clears out my inventory.
Okay, so a few minutes pass. Are you wanting to discuss anything else?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I still have that sword,
This one.
don't I?
You do.
What, the death sword?
The death sword.
Oh, we got rid of it in like a pocket dimension.
No, I'm going to, but I'm not going to do that until Elsie is done with it.
I was going to say, excuse me, can we not get rid of Death Sword, please?
Well, I agree, but if
Yeah.
Would
Vigo's...
you like me just to look after Death Sword?
No, but it just sounded like maybe Manchun was not quite so happy to let us have it as maybe he implied he was. So I'm just slightly concerned about us carrying it around with us right now.
That's true. Don't we have a bag where we can just hide it?
Yeah, but I think if I knew a group had the sword and had a bag of holding, I'd probably look in the bag of holding for the sword.
If I knew they had a sword and a bag of holding and I could see somebody with a sword on their waist, I would look for the sword.
I mean, I don't trust Vigo, but I think it'd be a pretty strange tactic to tell us that Manchun is still after the sword. And if he's the one who's been tasked with getting it back, that seems a really odd choice to me. Makes it a little bit obvious, but...
I just maybe wonder if we could pop it in a pocket dimension for now and then just nip back later when we need it.
Can you do that?
Yes. What was the plan? Was I going to use the cuirass? Plane shift.
It was your plan, I don't know.
What did we say, Adam?
I think you said that you would
just put it on a plane or something.
Yeah, I think you said that you would allow us to use it, and then after we'd used it, if it worked or if it didn't work, regardless, you were then going to seal it away somewhere so no one else should be able to find it.
I think I was going to use plane shift, put it somewhere, not tell anyone where it was, and then come back. But it just is going to take 2 days absolute minimum, assuming nothing goes wrong.
Do you reckon you could leave it with that nice friendly dragon that you beat up, like for safekeeping? Because he'd definitely guard it for us.
The one I got this cuirass that
Yeah.
allows me to do the plane shift. No.
I never said you'd be able to come back from it. I just said you give it to him.
I mean, if I got stuff from him and survived, then I don't think I trust him with anything that Manshoon wants.
Well, I don't mind, because obviously you were already being very kind in allowing us to use it, or at least attempt to use it. We have more pressing matters at the moment.
Assuming we
so-
don't think it would be useful with what we're trying to do now.
True, but from what you guys have said is that you don't think it's got its full potential at the moment anyway.
Can't remember.
Because, yeah.
It was different when we found it, but didn't it just sort of recharge? Michael, what was the...
It seemed, when you found it, it seemed to be inert. In the
Yeah.
days since, it seems to have gained some of its power back. Whether that means it's capable of doing what it originally did, you're not sure.
Yeah, as very conflicted right now, because as very much I would like to take the sword and try and do our thing. Also, at the same time, this seems very urgent and very pressing. I was never very good at making decisions in the first place.
No, you weren't.
What do you think, Maud? Because you are in this as much as I am. I know I've dragged you along for the ride.
Yeah, I kind of said it already, but I think in this situation, it's probably the more of us, the better. But I don't much like the idea of going too far into a very magical place with lots of things that could assail us with fewer of us. But I don't know. It depends what the Archividium is, other than lots of chambers. Is it a maze? Is it full of traps? Because I know you're good with traps, Elsie, but are there monsters?
I was thinking more with regards to if Erallur does seal away the sword and then for whatever reason we can't get it back.
Why would we be able to get it back?
Oh, I don't know. Erallur could die.
Very true.
You know, not that I'm saying that Erallur's going to die, because like she is the tallest out of all of us. But
We all know tall people don't die.
tall people.
Statistically speaking, tall people die a lot faster than short people.
Oh, do they? Oh.
Yeah. And humans definitely do. I mean, gnomes, we live quite a long time. But
like most people just kind of like step over us. But
I'm in the wrong profession.
So yeah, it's more. I very much get that we don't want to take the sword with us because it could be used against us, but also at the same time, there's nowhere really safe that we can put it without it going elsewhere. And my worry is that if I make the decision to seal it away and then we then can't get it back, that you're going to hate me.
Well, I figure for now we should probably put it in their bag, because Juniper's got that, and she is by far the most trustworthy of all of these people.
Very true.
And probably the most powerful, after me, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with that, because I don't think that anybody's going to get the bag easily from her.
Can we put the weapons in a bag in the bag? Or something around, like an enchantment on...
So you can only get the weapon if you're thinking about the bag, not the weapon.
Yeah.
Roll an Arcana check.
Can I think about that as well?
Intend to use.
Yes.
Oh, 13.
Can we all make a mini bag of holding?
So you got 13, Kathryn.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you get, Adam? Arcana check?
Sorry.
Yeah, what happens if you put a bag of holding in a bag of holding?
We will get to that.
9.
You are both unsure whether putting the sword within another bag would mean that you would have to ask for the bag or the sword in order to get it. You don't know. Erallur, you have a little bit more knowledge on this, and you are fairly sure, were you to put a bag of holding within a bag of holding, the universe will implode upon itself.
Isn't that what happens when you turn one inside out, or is that less catastrophic?
No, when you turn one inside out, the contents all comes out, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
When you put two interdimensional things in one another, universe explodes.
Okay.
Or
Elsie,
implodes.
never put a bag of holding inside a bag of holding.
Well, we only have one anyway, so...
Why
or
don't we give
do
it a go? Let's put the sword in a bag, put the bag in the bag, and then see what happens when we ask for the bag.
Oh no, so shall we want to ask...
For the sword.
We want to
try
ask for
both.
the sword.
We'll try both. Let me see if I have anything else that I could put it in. There's more.
Your convenient
I
sword
can just empty
bag.
out...
Yeah.
I can just empty out my burglar's pack.
Clang, 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 clang.
Because I can... And then I then just start putting all of the tools in my coat.
Okay. That might impact your stealth, just so you know.
Just put them all loosely in the bag of holding.
Yeah, I gather up my tools and give you my burglar's pack.
It's
I
a
think
pretty big bag.
The sword's
so-
already in the bag, isn't it?
I don't know. I think you gave it to Juniper, but I can't remember. Jess, do you
I don't have it in
remember?
my inventory.
I mean, yeah, sure, I've got the sword, I guess. I don't know.
Oh,
My inventory is looking very small. I'm slightly worried.
I don't think
might
we keep track of what's in the
be
bag.
both
of
I
of
love
it.
the fact
Somehow.
that searching for this sword was a 10-episode quest. And we're now at the point with, who has it now? Do you have it? Do you have it?
I think
it's
we put it in
I
the
would
bag of
say-
holding. I'll
Yeah,
try it. I
The
would.
fact that we didn't have a whole subplot of a character selling it or pickpocketing it, I think implies that somebody has it.
Juniper, can we have a look at the bag, please? So I'm going to see if the sword's in the bag.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, good. Then I'll put it in the new bag
hmm
and then put that bag into the bag of holding.
We
Okay.
have to go.
This isn't secretly a bag of holding, is it? Elsie?
No, it's not.
Not as far as I'm aware.
Unless Adam wants to really prematurely end the campaign.
Does anyone have anything they want to say, just in case?
I mean, really, we should keep this knowledge to one side and just use it as like a doomsday option if we're bargaining with anybody.
Dormammu, I have come to bargain.
But the problem is the person would have to understand that that's a threat. I can imagine a lot of people. They'll be like, I'm going to put this back.
If we were
Okay.
if we were fighting a Tarrasque and you put one bag of holding on its nose and the other on its tail, what would happen?
Nothing. It would just be irritated, I imagine.
What
The
if
bags
you-
are nowhere near large enough to contain a Tarrasque.
What if you
Not
moved them
put it
slowly
in.
towards each other?
Again, like it's not possible. A Tarrasque is Godzilla size. It is a
I'm-
kaiju. A bag of holding is never going to be big enough so that you
That's the
can.
same, because otherwise, in every battle, we could just get one person to run at the enemy from one side of the bag and one person run from the other.
Elsie is now having the thoughts of if she puts one foot in one bag of holding and one foot in another
That's
bag of
true.
holding.
If you put it on the floor and you put a foot in it, would
which
would
is
it?
all in.
You wouldn't be treading on anything, would you?
It would be like that myth where if you go like that with a cat, its eyes go to either side and
I've
it
never heard that
dies.
before. It dies.
Yeah, it dies.
What?
One, I have never heard this myth. Two, why is that related?
I'm just thinking of splitting someone in two between two bags. Maybe it's just me.
What, like the
Isn't that the
Resident
Zach
Evil
Galifianakis
character?
show?
Maybe?
Oh no, it's between two ferns. That's
Oh, yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Between two cat's eyes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
so back on track.
So now that the sword is in a bag and in the bag, can I put my hand in and ask for the sword?
you ask for the sword. The bag comes to your hand.
Oh well, what if we rename the sword like Cactus?
How do you rename a sword?
I've just done it.
I
Oh,
mean,
look at that new sword that you've got. It's called Cactus.
It's not a
isn't it?
sword, Elsie.
Oh, it's just
It's a
just a
cactus.
cactus. Right, okay. Well, put your new cactus in the bag.
Okay. I'm putting this cactus in the bag.
But
Okay.
do we all have to consciously,
So-
like, you can't just say it. Surely you've got to think of it as a cactus.
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
forget
so-
the noun sword.
So, Erallur, pass me. I'll take the bag.
Yeah. Please
Okay,
retrieve
great.
my cactus from this bag.
This is
Right,
some
okay.
serious
I would like to get Erallur's cactus from the bag.
Nothing comes to your hand.
Oh, we lost it.
At this point,
Vigo
Vigo
doing?
Solved.
Vigo comes back into the room and
There you go.
lets Truffle fly around. Very capable student.
Good.
He's now got a massive spoiler on his back.
No, Flint, you do actually notice that the beak has been sharpened and hooked a little bit.
Spin around in a weird way.
No, it's still firm, but it looks like it's been adapted slightly.
How do you feel about that?
I give Vigo a bit of a look, but it's okay. It's fine.
I mean, Truffle's his own creature. He can make his own decisions.
Maybe that's just a new haircut for Truffle.
Yeah.
Maybe. Does Truffle seem happy about this? I mean,
So seems okay with it.
okay.
You need to
well,
really respect Truffle's bodily autonomy.
Yeah, I
he's
guess
just
so.
had a beak job. It's fine.
Yeah.
His bodily autonomy.
What if I put the sword in a magical mansion which would last 24 hours?
That's actually not a bad idea.
Your understanding of the magical mansion, Juniper, is that objects that you put in there are expelled when the spell ends.
But
Also-
we do it on the day
Also,
we do it
if
on the-
thing.
also if this was your first casting of magical mansion, which I believe it is,
Yes, yeah.
then that's fantastic.
Yeah, but
We're not
no,
going to
so-
stay in there. We're just putting the sword in there.
So
I mean, we found.
I'm sorry,
we found
Juniper.
hotels.
you can summon a magical mansion.
Yeah.
So we could summon a magical mansion, put all of our deadly magical things in this magical mansion, and then as long as we retrieve them before the time runs out, they should be fine.
I think so.
How do you get into the mansion?
There's a magical portal that only
Um,
I can open and close. I think.
Oh, so you can close it behind you.
And only you have access to it?
Yes, I imagine. Wait, hold on.
It's creatures that she
Oh,
decides.
yeah.
Oh,
I can open it, and anybody who I want to open it can open it.
But
Well, that's
if Juniper leaves, then it goes away, I believe.
Including all the objects.
Well, the objects would all just be spat out, essentially.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Our Google Home thing. Sorry.
well, let's just do that then.
I think I can leave it. Actually, I'm just looking through the.
Can you? I thought you.
So I think magical hut you can't leave.
Oh, I may be thinking
Tiny
of
hut
the,
you
the
can't leave.
hut.
But it's a 7th level spell, so it's.
Fair enough. Yeah, no,
I've
I'm thinking.
only got one 7th level spell slot, so I
You're
think
right. I'm
I'll
thinking of
just
the
leave it
hut.
again. Yeah, the hut you can't because that'd be very OP because that's quite
Yeah.
a low level spell. But this one is. Yeah, no, yeah, I can, close it. But yeah, only 24 hours. So obviously, if we were there longer than 24 hours, we would essentially lose the sword. So that would.
Well, I think that's the best plan we've got so far. Here, Juniper, would you like a cactus?
Isn't it still in the bag?
Yeah, it's still in the bag. But I
I'll
think
take the
Elsie
bag.
is handing you the bag.
I take the bag of holding and think of the sword.
The sword comes to your hand in Elsie's burglar's pack bag.
The cactus is still there.
Can I have my
Kinda like
bag
a
back
keep-
then?
A code word.
If it didn't work? Because
I begrudgingly hand over the bag.
Empty bag.
Yeah.
thank you. And I put all of my tools back in the.
But you have to ask for each tool individually from the bag
Yeah, it takes a while.
because you put them all in.
Yeah.
If you forget, it's like that thing you have to do when you own too many things and you have to remember everything that you own. And if you can't remember it, they get rid of it. So if you
Never heard of that.
can't remember all your tools, it's obviously not a useful tool.
I mean, that's hard because I know for sure I would remember some stuff that's absolutely useless to me
Yeah.
and forget about stuff that's very important to me.
Yeah.
It's like the fantasy equivalent of Marie Kondo. Just does it bring you joy?
Yeah. Does this screwdriver bring you joy?
So it takes a while to the point that Maud throws her hands up in the air, leaves the room, and then comes back with a drink.
Oh.
So we may be wanting to scout out the Archividium today.
See that? It's probably a good idea.
Is it daytime still?
It's early afternoon at this point.
And we know where this is, this building.
Vaguely, you'd have to search out.
Oh, I think
for it.
we were told, I wrote this down, the westernmost point in this layer of the city.
Yeah,
And it's a large building and it looks like it's only one floor.
yeah.
I think we might as well make the most of the time.
I could go hat shopping again. No. Yeah, I think what we might as well do as much reconnaissance as we can now to help us further down the line.
We should also do a bit of mead selling to keep our cover.
Yeah, we
Oh,
absolutely
right.
should. That is a very good idea, and I am very happy to take the lead on that.
Mead dealers.
I suppose I should be on the sneaky team.
Well,
Two teams. Sneaky, selling alcohol.
well, Elsie, are you coming in with me with Truffle, or am I going in on my own with Truffle, or are we trying different entrances this time, or what?
Well, yeah. Do we want to try and see if there's different ways of getting in?
I know there's different ways of getting in.
Oh,
Do you already know the different ways of getting in? Or you just know there are some?
No, I just know there are some.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably on this building that looks like it's a single floor, there's just lots of doors.
Like to map the outside first as well. You can
True,
go around the streets as a group and see if you can find any place that looks like a way in.
true.
We should make sure that we're not seen with you, Vigo, because otherwise any information could get back.
That's true. I mean, I've got the disguise, so
and I could disguise myself also,
interesting.
so I don't look like me.
That's not a bad idea.
Gives me an excuse to dye my hair.
You could both disguise yourselves as the same person and then walk around like twins, but then they'll only have one description to go by.
But what if we're both spotted at the same time?
Then you're twins.
I suppose it's not terribly well. Twins in exactly the same clothes who are adults.
I know people.
Like, but
Who do
we could just.
Oh, I forgot you're a noble. Yeah, that makes sense.
We could, yeah, like that's not a bad idea, because as long as I've heard a voice for long enough, I can mimic it, so we can have the same voice, and we could be the same enough but ever so slightly different, so that you guys can distinguish between us, so you know which one's me and which one's him.
Well, may I just suggest different colored robes then? That might be simplest.
Yeah,
Okay, that works.
I've not done any disguise work in ages.
Wait. When you say disguise work, what do you mean? Do you mean that you're crafting an illusion, or do you mean that you're disguising yourself? Because my disguise is an illusion that is taller than me. If you can't be taller, then that's going to be an issue.
Well,
Does yours only work if it's that
What-
specific person?
What are
Yeah.
you? What are you using to disguise yourself with?
This rock.
Me? Not me.
Oh, I wish you'd said that as Luke, Simon, because he genuinely could just put it on and off like that.
Well, I have disguise self.
That doesn't necessarily make well.
I thought you could. It's just that if someone moves their hand through, then
Not quite. Disguise self can make you a little
Oh,
bit taller, but
Yeah,
not
I can make myself
massively.
1 foot shorter or taller,
Yeah.
or appear thin,
But
fat, or in
because
between.
she's a gnome, Vigo's spell is not disguise self. It is seeming, which is more advanced and different.
could you just make yourself look exactly the same, just not the same height, and no one will be able to tell because you'll be far away?
The way your mind works sometimes.
Like it's a
It's a
Lord.
serious suggestion.
Maud puts down a
facial optical illusion.
Maud puts down a tank and goes, "That is a very good point. I see no problem with that."
Like, please, both of you come through this door at once. No, I'll stay 5 meters behind. You go.
Well, could you change what yours looks like?
No, I'm not. This was lent to me. It's not something that I enchanted.
Oh.
Maybe you could look similar to me, like you're a younger sibling, or
Yeah.
so forget the twin thing, but we still kind of look the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't even have to look the same. It's just if we're disguised, they won't recognize us anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really
you
know
have
where
all of the same sort of defining features. If you maybe chose something that is in your disguise already, Vigo, that's kind of glaring, then if people were to describe you, then they would say that thing.
Yeah, probably. The whole point of my disguise was that it was fairly nondescript in a city of mages, but
But if we go with like the same color clothing,
yeah, that makes sense.
the
Maybe
same
we're
hair,
of the same magic house or something, you know.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you want to go with sky blue robes,
Cool.
that's probably going to be our best bet, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
How long does your disguise last?
An hour.
Okay, so maybe we want to head up into this upper city first, and then find an alley and cast
Does
spells.
yours last as long as
Mine
want?
lasts as long as I want. Yeah.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, I've got a
yeah.
magical stone that just changes how I learn.
Well, I don't own it. Manchun owns it, but
Oh,
it's a permanent seeming spell. But,
does he
Another
want to give
reason
me
to
one?
fake our deaths so that you can keep the stone.
again, stealing from Manchun is not a good idea. I cannot reiterate that enough.
Like, it's just so tempting.
I realize that, Elsie, but the last person who managed to steal from him stole his hand, and he tried to get a soul-stealing sword in vengeance. So stealing from him, not a good plan.
What was so special about his hand?
I mean, I think he was just fairly attached to it, like most
I
people
see.
are
They
to
didn't
their
steal it.
hands.
They just cut it off.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
They-
are you
they
attached to your hands?
I need them.
Exactly.
While you're having this conversation, Elsie has mimicked having her hand stolen and being like,
Like running around the room.
Maud is giggling to herself.
my hand, my hand.
And then Vigo goes, I mean, you are kind of mocking a disabled person, but okay.
Like, you're just such a downer.
Yeah.
I was just trying to lighten the mood. It's always so dreary and doing this and doing this. And
Shall we go into the city?
I have never done any of those things.
yes, let's.
Okay, so where are you headed?
The western.
To the building.
Okay. Well, I didn't know whether you wanted to try and sell some beer or if you wanted to go
Oh, I
straight
figured we would
scouting.
do that while you're in there.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
On the way, can
Mhm.
I just take Elsie to the side?
Okay.
And
yes.
sorry, what?
That's right. I wanted to do the same, but with Flint. So we'll do your thing first.
Okay.
Three of you in a line.
This might help you, and I'll give you the wand.
Oh, thanks. I'd forgotten about that.
And then I'll sidle away again, because I get the feeling you didn't want to talk to me.
So, Adam, stats-wise, it's a wand of focus, and it gives you a +2 to your spell attack and a +2 to your spell save, both in terms of your personal spell save, as in your spell DC,
Mhm.
and your ability to save against magic.
Yes. Cool. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. I put that away. And then I mosey on over to Flint. Hi, buddy.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Oh, I thought we were at a place.
I
Are
don't
we,
think we're ever going to be at that place, Elsie. Not Buddy
Oh.
Place.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, this conversation is not going how I thought it was going to go.
Did you think it would go opening with Buddy, Elsie?
I turn around and go, hey, you.
What would you like?
I thought that if I'm going in with Truffle and Vigo, it might be useful for whoever is going with Truffle for the other person to have the talky hand thingy so that we can then communicate with each other through Truffle. So can I borrow it, please?
It is frustrating that you have made a very good case.
I'm not stupid.
All right, here you go. Look after it. I mean it. And
Well, yeah, well, I'm not going to give this to Vigo. That would be stupid.
no, that would be stupid. And if
Yeah,
you did
so-
that, I would.
So
leaving me
I'll
on the
keep
floating
keep
city.
this,
Okay.
and it then means that I can communicate to Vigo through Truffle.
Okay.
Cool.
If you lose that, I
You can kill
literally
Maud.
went
Yeah, that's
into-
great. Yeah, that's the agreement. If I lose this, you kill Maud. Okay, cool. Thanks.
fine.
Thanks, buddy.
Do we have any samples of meat that I can try so I can have more
No,
of
I
it?
didn't bring any with me.
Okay,
No,
fine.
obviously carrying loads of mead.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I've got some tobacco if you need to calm down.
It's a slippery slope. I wouldn't.
No, I'll take that.
Okay, have you got your own pipe? Because you're not using mine.
I'll chew it.
Salute
Fair.
reaches into his pack and then just subtly palms a bag of rations to Flint to calm him down.
Is it just seeds?
It's mainly seeds.
Seeds and a bit of beef jerky.
Nice.
I
Like
chew it.
the equivalent of an egg in a troubling time.
Yeah, I chew it.
Okay, so you make your way over to the westernmost point of the city. It is a fairly long journey. Takes you probably an hour and a half to get all the way there. You don't have trouble getting into the upper city like before. And you come to a few buildings that look fairly dilapidated. There aren't that many people around, and it looks like this portion of the city, despite being in the upper tier and where the mages most frequent, this looks much more derelict than anywhere else that you've seen, even in the other tiers. Can you make insight checks for me, please?
Everybody.
Anyone who wants to.
Hey,
Dirty 20.
12.
23.
Okay, so Elsie and Saluk, you notice that the few people who are in this area hurry through quite quickly and glance about them furtively. They don't necessarily seem to notice you, but they don't linger.
What sort of people are they?
Mages, ostensibly, they seem to be robed like the rest, although lower status than some of the ones you've seen in this higher tier.
Does it come across as a nervous hurrying or an efficient
Yes.
hurrying?
No, a nervous hurrying, almost superstitious.
Is anyone else noticing how the other people here are moving, or is it just me?
They do not like this place.
No,
No.
not just you.
The city in the shadow of the Arcanum is not a place people seem to like to linger.
Well, this fills me with fun.
Ready to throw on the disguise, Elsie?
Yes. Well, you put yours on and then I shall twiddle.
Okay, let's find an alley or something.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Goes in, takes the stone out of the pocket, seems to click a button on it, despite the fact that the surface of it was smooth to your eye, and the disguise flows back. The dark-skinned mage from before with shaved sides of the head and a slicked back portion on top, and the vague point of a wispy beard looks down at you and nods.
Cool. So I imitate it 90%, if you get what I mean by
Yeah,
that.
sure. Yeah, so Elsie, there is suddenly an increase in height. There's no beard on this mage, but similar hairstyle, slightly less closer cropped, and slightly smaller ears, and a scar just next to the eye, almost a chickenpox scar by the look of it. Vigo's illusion nods and says, well, shall we?
Is his voice Vigo's voice, or is it a different voice?
His voice is Vigo's voice at the moment.
Okay, so I will then use my actor ability to be able to then speak like him, because I've heard his voice for long enough to be able to mimic it.
Yep. Okay. Do you say anything like him immediately, or?
Sup.
Okay, that's not comfortable at all.
No, that's not comfortable at all, is it?
Let's just do this. Okay.
Let's just do this.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I knew this was a bad idea. So the two of them start heading towards the westernmost building, and you are fairly certain which building this is. It is a very large, very long building with terracotta tiles that sit in a triangular roof shape, white walls that bear various markings, not necessarily painted, but almost etched into the paint, that look like random swirls until you start to look at them enough that you start to maybe see a pattern, but you're not sure whether that's your instinct to see patterns in something or just that there is actually a pattern. As you approach it, you can see that there are no weeds or plants or anything of the sort in the fairly old-looking tiled floor around it. The floor is different to the rest of the streets. That was that smooth magic stone. This is smaller tiles, almost like a mosaic, but with no picture. And whilst other parts of this portion of the city have wildlife growing through, this is devoid of it. And as you approach, you can see that there are many, many doors, almost to the extent that there is barely any wall between them.
So do we just pick one and go? Or
Seems like as good a plan as any. I mean, maybe we should pick opposite doors. I really don't know how this works. I don't know whether it's like Old Place and even if we pick the same door, we'll end up in a different place, or...
Oh, before we go, I turned to Flint. How do you call truffle? Do you whistle? Do you click? Do you do a...
It's very weird because this is all in Vigo's tone, but it's coming from the one that you know is Elsie.
I hope you know this isn't the most reassuring thing to be hearing before what is purportedly a stealth mission. All you need to do is speak into that thing. Truffle will be able to hear you. You'll be able to see everything that Truffle sees. You'll be able to hear everything that Truffle sees. But equally, if you are speaking through it, chances are that the people on the other end will hear it as well. So be quiet, be careful. Don't give your position away.
Where is Truffle now?
Vigo holds out his hand and Truffle slowly flutters up.
So Truffle's going to go with you. I've got this that allows me to talk with him. So if you need me, if we need to speak to each other, we can do.
Makes sense to me.
Isn't it I thought you didn't have to speak out loud with a sending stone.
No, it's a
not a
scrying
sending stone.
stone.
It's a scrying stone. They're different.
Would it be strange if we just went for complete opposite doors, one on each end?
No, I don't think so. We might end up in the same place, you know.
Why not? I like the symmetry of it.
Okay, you go north, I go south.
I'm hoping for a Scooby-Doo moment.
Sure.
Okay, so you go to the doors and you see that Truffle is hovering over Vigo's right shoulder, and Vigo looks into the lens and reaches out, nods, and then starts to open the door.
And I look back at the others, give them a nod, and do the same.
Okay. As you walk in, you find yourself in a room that is similarly painted to the walls outside, but there are no symbols on the inside of this room. It is stark white, around 20 feet by 20 feet in all directions. So a cube, essentially. There is nobody inside. There is a door on the other side. That is it.
Just reverse ever so slightly. Since we'd been in the area, had anyone gone in any of the doors?
Roll a perception check retroactively.
So that becomes a 21.
No, nobody seems to be daring to go as close to this place as you have.
And there's only just the one door directly in front of me.
Yes.
I can just go and touch either side of the walls. So
Yeah.
either, yeah.
Feels like
Wall, sounds like wall, feels
faster.
like wall.
Yeah. As you walk away from the door, it closes behind you silently, and the rest of you see Elsie's view cut off.
I do not like this.
Do I?
Are any of the artificial nature sounds audible from here?
Roll a perception check.
I wouldn't know anyway. I got a 5.
No, the blood is pumping too much in your ears from your nerves to discern any of that.
I guess I'd walk through the next door.
You open the door, and as you go through, there is the softest creak as it opens, and you find yourself in a medium-sized chamber, bigger than the one before, but with a vaulted ceiling that is still relatively low and stained glass windows around the majority of the room. As you go in, do you close the door or do you let it close?
If I were just to leave it, would it naturally close?
Yes.
Yeah, I just let it naturally close.
Okay. As the door closes, you see it shimmer and stained glass comes across it and you can no longer see the door.
Uh-oh. Vigo.
There is no answer.
I go and inspect the now stained glass window.
Okay, make an investigation check.
18.
You see waves frothing, and as you watch, they start to move through the glass, and you see a lightning bolt arc across, and a ship appears on the horizon, luffing with the waves, up and down, up and down. It's almost hypnotic with the rhythm. And your knowledge of the sea suggests that's too rhythmic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not natural. Can you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Oh dear.
Oh, I do get advantage. 11.
You blink a couple of times and you pull away from the window. And as you take a few step backs, you hear the floor crack under your feet. And you notice that it too is now covered in stained glass. And you glance down briefly and see that rather than the illusory self of you reflected in this glass, there is the actual Elsie.
Okay. Am I still disguised, though?
The illusion is still over you. As you lift your arm, you see the arm above your head move.
Yeah.
But below, you see a slightly horrified looking Elsie, as you would ordinarily appear.
Why did I agree to do this by myself? Is it the same reflection in all of the stained glass?
There are no other reflections.
Oh. And the entire floor is now stained glass?
Yes, and is cracking under the pressure.
Oh, no.
To the extent that you see a crack spidering towards the reflection's face.
I, as lightly as possible, make my way over to... Was there another door?
No, there was no other door.
Oh. I make my way over to the closest wall.
Okay. Are you trying to do so nimbly?
Yes.
I will say make a
nimble check.
Dexterity check.
Natural 20.
Okay, so you manage
24.
to step across on the various bits of iron that mark between the glass, so the pressure is limited. And you manage to do it in such a way that there are a couple of cracks, but you get across and the wall is in front of you.
Has it seemed to stop cracking, or...?
Yes, and there's no picture on this wall as of yet.
Okay. I'm going to be wasting my breath, but Vigo, can you hear me?
No response. Can you make a perception check? Can you make a perception check for me as you hold the stone up to speak to it?
At least nothing else answers.
True. 24.
Who's Vigo?
As you hold it up, you hear just a weird fuzzing noise from the stone.
So almost like there's an interference.
Yes.
Can I see anything through the glass?
Make a perception check. The rest of you, it's been half an hour.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, to the pub.
21.
You can't see anything through the glass, no. And as you look at this wall, there's no reflection of you in here. It is almost entirely midnight blue.
I get my bearings and I jump.
Okay, make an athletics check.
10.
You jump and there is a as you go face first into a glass wall and cracks spider around the impact point. Your nose throbs but does not start to bleed.
I kind of meant to jump up and down, so to kind of
Oh, I
possibly
thought
go...
you meant that you were jumping forwards.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
it's like to jump up, to go to possibly break the floor to see if I fall through.
Okay, then yes, that would happen. So you
Okay.
jump up a couple of feet and then smash, and there is a as the entire room collapses around you and you start to fall. Can
I
you
do.
make a Constitution saving throw for me, please?
Sure. 7.
Okay. You fall, and then suddenly it's almost like gravity reverses itself, and you come to rest on what was the ceiling. But because it's suddenly inverted things for you, you feel bile pour up your throat and are sick.
Oh.
As you gather yourself, the vomit disappears
Uh-huh.
from the floor, and you find yourself in a black glass room.
So the previous one was blue.
Yeah.
I'm now in a black room.
This is rougher hewn, though. It looks like it's worked obsidian,
Okay.
and it's not smoothed.
Mhm.
Again, there doesn't seem to be doors, but you can just see a square of light at the very top of the room. And as you look around, you then see a fairly haughty elven face, illuminated in light, in outlines, appear on the wall in a flash,
Mhm.
and then disappear. And then in a slightly different position, the same elven face, but with a foul expression and a cross through it, flash and then disappear.
Do I recognize the face?
Roll a history check.
21.
No, you do not recall this face. It's nobody you know. But as you try and recall that, both faces flash in sequence again, then flash out.
The one normal, one
One
angry.
one looks very, very happy.
Okay. But I'm upside down.
You're the right way up now
Oh, okay.
to your sensibilities, but
I go towards where the faces are
Mhm.
or have appeared, if I can.
yeah, you can. They're halfway up the wall, though, so you couldn't be able to reach them necessarily.
Okay, well, I go over to them. It's a black room.
Mhm.
It's not like glass. It's
No,
not
it's
smooth.
like obsidian
Okay.
stone.
So there's no windows in this one. There's no doors.
It's just the hole illuminated at the top of the room.
Oh, yeah, there's the light coming from the hole.
Yeah.
Ignoring where the faces are, I go towards the light.
Well, it's above you, so you wouldn't be
Okay.
able to reach it.
I shoot an arrow at the light.
You shoot an arrow, it goes up. You hear the clatter of it against another room. and then it falls back down again, having hit the ceiling.
Okay.
The faces flash again.
Go away. I'm trying to think.
When you speak to them, the happy face gets happier, the angry face gets angrier.
Well, that's just contradictory.
The intensity of the cross through the angry face grows a little bit redder.
Nice.
But it's...
There are no pigeons in this room, Kathryn.
There are no pigeons in this room. That's why I stopped myself. So the light is a light, doesn't really do anything. The faces keep on appearing. Could I reach the faces where the faces are appearing if I were to whack them with something?
Maybe.
I get out my belaying pin, but they're not there at the moment. They only seem to appear when I speak.
No,
Right?
they're flashing rhythmically.
Oh, they're flashing rhythmically.
Yeah.
Okay.
One appears, disappears, one appears, disappears. A few seconds pass. Well, no, a few seconds pass then.
Yeah. So I go and stand in front of the angry one, and the next time it reappears, I whack it with my belaying pin.
Okay, roll an attack roll.
With your what pin?
Belaying pin.
What is that?
It's a pin that they use on ships, like for things. It's a weapon that I was given.
Okay.
It's a club, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
12, I think.
You try and jump and hit it. The pin just scrapes against the stone, and you realize that the image is actually sunken into the rock.
Ugh.
It's
Right,
not
okay.
on the surface.
Right, okay.
Doesn't change, doesn't get angrier at being hit. The expression intensifies as time passes. The rest of you, it's coming up to 45 minutes now since Elsie and Vigo disappeared. There aren't many people around, even fewer than there were before as evening starts to come towards the city. Can I get you all to make a perception check?
You can.
You won't like it.
What kind of perception check?
This would be a listen.
11.
I don't get different ones. I'm just perceiving.
So Erallur got 11,
10.
10,
3.
3,
30.
30. I genuinely didn't know from your expression, Jess, whether it was amazing or awful. It was either smug or it was oh dear.
Yeah, thought I'd keep you all waiting.
Yeah, I like it.
I've got plus 11 to perception. I rolled a 19.
Nice. Okay, so Juniper, you are the only one that notices as an unfamiliar voice just drifts to you as you're waiting in this side street and says, I don't want to go in. Do you want to go in? And then another voice says, no, I don't want to go in. Why would you want me to go in? It's scary, but you're so brave and clearly more suited for it. It's just this slightly squabbling conversation.
Can I ascertain the direction it's coming from?
Seems to be coming from a right, which would be east. So back the way you came.
Could I surreptitiously look over my shoulder?
Well, it would be in the street. If you're facing the Archividium,
Oh, I
it'd
see.
be
So they're,
in
like,
front
behind
of
the
you to the
thing.
right, if that makes sense. So you could peer around the corner.
Okay. I will say in a whisper, I think there's some other people about to go in.
You think for the meeting? Or?
That's not
No.
for
That's not
now,
for
no.
ages. What am I talking about?
They're very...
Very.
They're very keen.
Well, we could maybe watch.
Maud says, perhaps we're not the only ones spying.
Yeah. Well, we better spy on them.
Perhaps another group.
Maybe. Juniper, do you want to pop your nose around the corner and see?
Yeah, I'll take a peek.
Okay,
I take a peek.
carefully. Okay, so
I carefully take a peek.
could you roll a stealth check for me
Yeah,
first of all?
sure.
At the same time, can Saluk fly up to a suitable rooftop to peek over?
He may, yes, absolutely.
Fictitious.
Are you trying to do so surreptitiously?
Sneakily, but
Nimbly.
bird sneakily.
Okay, I would say roll a stealth check as well then. What did you get, Juniper?
Mine is a 12.
12, okay.
I've only got plus 7 to stealth, so
Okay.
it's one of my weaker skills. That.
And Saluk?
1.
Oh.
1. Okay. So, Juniper, you poke your little fake corgi nose out and just twitch it a couple of times as you sniff, and then realize that they meant you needed to look, not smell.
Oh yeah.
And then you just peer your face out as this fluttering of feathers sounds behind you as Saluk tries to take off, but doesn't quite have enough momentum, so needs to run awkwardly and actually almost clips Maud with his talon. And there is a squawk of annoyance as he scrambles into the air. As you're distracted and looking around at that, you sense somebody standing not very far away from your outstretched nose.
I sneeze.
You hear fleet feet dance back out of the sneeze radius.
It's a cute sneeze, like a cute. It's not like a. It's like a little.
I would love it if, Juniper, you were lovable and like dainty and cute in every single way. But when you sneeze,
Yeah, you sneeze
Like a
like
dragon.
Ryan Blessed.
yeah,
Like Troy sneezing in Community.
the most monstrous colds.
So you hear fleet feet dance back from the sneeze radius and then turn back to see an elven, half-elven man, dark hair, fairly brown skin, very well-muscled, and wearing what look like loose vestments. He did briefly have his arms crossed, but as he danced back, he took them out to balance. And then as you take in his appearance, he folds his arms again and looks down at you and says, I wasn't expecting to find anybody in this part of the city. But I suppose we can't be the only ones interested.
Yes.
Were you trying to hide from us, perhaps?
I mean, we're not. I mean, I don't know who you are, so I can't hide from you.
That kind of. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. And then you see behind him a heavily armored half-elven woman who looks similar to him. There are parts of her face and features that would suggest a close familial connection if they weren't twins. You're not sure whether they are, but they're definitely siblings.
See, so they're using the same strategy that we thought.
You don't know. You don't know. I think it's up to you whether Juniper would assume that. But she is wearing full plate armor. It's not the grandest, but looks functional and purposeful. There is
funky.
Yes, funky armor. It's between medium and heavy as funky. She wears a mace strapped to her right hip and carries a silvery shield on her back. Similar dark hair, but slightly longer than the man's, but only slightly. And looks you up and down and goes, I've never seen anything like that before.
I'm a fey corgi, but I don't
What?
think it's like me, except not me. I don't think. I mean, this is the first time I've been to a flying city, and I haven't
It's our
seen.
first time too.
Oh, do you like it?
Not so much.
That's fair.
But you say you're a fey corgi.
That's what I was told.
Who by?
My dad
Right. And your dad.
was a human.
Right, because we've been to the Feywild, so I'm not seen all of it, but never mind. Why are you here?
Well, we're waiting for our friend. They haven't come out yet.
Come out of where?
Point to the building.
The male goes, feck. Right, so you're here for the same reason we are then.
Probably.
There's a meeting, some woman called the lady.
Sure, let's go with that. Also, we've got some mead.
The real
woman-
reason.
The woman goes, I could use some meat. And I goes, not now, we're discussing. And then peers around the corner and goes, when you say we, oh, quite a few more of you than there are of us. Hello,
Hello?
Erallur. As he lifts his hand to say hello, you get a weird flutter in your stomach, almost like butterflies. You have no idea why. For our listeners, Simon just yelled in the chat, a moth!
Kill her now.
Stab.
And then the female comes around the corner and goes, oh, right, there are quite a lot of you, aren't there? So you're here for the meeting too?
We are not supposed to tell you anything.
Right, but
Saluk says he straightens himself up off the floor.
the man says, but you realize in saying that you are telling me something, because in saying that you can't talk about it, you're kind of talking about it.
But I did not talk about it, so you do not know why we are here.
But I do know why you're here, because I can.
Wait, I am confused. I
Me
need to
too.
start straightening himself down.
Let's maybe start again. Hi, I'm Lucan. This is my sister, Enner. We're here on behalf of a particular Fey noble.
What brings you so high up in the sky?
Our particular Fey noble would like to know why she was invited to this meeting. We're emissaries, so to speak.
So you're attending the meeting?
We are. Does that mean that you're not?
I don't know what the meeting you're talking about. You brought up the meeting.
Roll the deception check.
Definitely just said the meeting.
Am I deceptive? Sort of. 16.
Enna raises her eyebrow at you, Erallur, and goes, "You know about the meeting."
I really don't, though. Not as much as you probably think I do.
But you know there is a meeting.
I do. I mean, I do now. Yes.
Maybe I wasn't clear before. I know that you were lying.
Mm.
And Erallur, as this conversation continues, a particular name pops into your head, seemingly connected to nothing.
What name?
You know the name.
Do I?
You would, yeah.
Can you send it to
Kathryn.
me in a message?
Oh, the magic of podcasts.
Is it my name?
Jess. Jessica.
We all
Coming to
know
the
that
game.
name.
Oh my god, Michael Stein.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay. But I
There's
don't
no
know. Do I know who that is?
No, there is no connection.
just the
and
name, I don't know
it's
who.
not this lady's name, because she's called Enna.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was lovely to meet you both. I'm going to go and sell some mead.
Are you not going in? Your friend said that you were waiting for somebody.
Maybe, and I'll look around at everyone.
You've been in there before.
No, we were coming to see if we could maybe scout out the place. Seems we're not the only ones who thought of that.
Do you know if someone went in who maybe, just for example, wasn't invited? Would there be anything in place that might cause them harm, or would they be able to just leave again?
I don't know, to be honest. We haven't got any invitations or tokens that suggest that we were invited. Though coming to a strange city and coming to a place such as grand named as an Archividium, I can expect that there might be defenses in place.
Well, when were you invited? How long ago?
Our patron was invited 2 months ago, before the city appeared.
That must have been very confusing.
Well, she didn't credit it as a worthy invitation until, of course, Arlinar came to be again.
And your employer is who?
She'd rather I not say.
Does Luke have any familiarity with patrons of the Feywilds?
History check. I'm saying rather than Arcana for you, because of your personal history.
Like direct experience, however limited. 10.
Limited, you were warned not to go too far into the Feywild, if at all. You were definitely warned against interacting with any higher Fey, just because of how tricksy they could be. It's possible that their patron could be any number of Fey figures from the stories. You can't identify a specific one from their clothing or demeanor.
I lean over to Erallur and whisper, Erallur, I think it's best if we leave these people be for now. And then place a hand on her shoulder with a slight tension.
Okay. Well, like I said, we're gonna here for business, so.
Okay, we'll maybe see you around then.
And if you see anyone in there that looks like they might not be there, shouldn't be there, I mean, then just go easy.
We're not in the business of just beating up random strangers.
Well, just do it gently. maybe show her out.
Well, that really depends on the
Disguised as a him.
Sorry, him, them, whoever. I don't know who they are.
That really depends on the hospitality of the person running the meeting, don't you think?
Is the meeting today then?
No, we're just here
Well,
to...
that'll be fine.
We have nibbles.
Right, so enjoy your business. And then Both of them start to walk towards the building.
Acquaintances of yours?
Who, me?
Hmm.
No? What makes you say that?
I don't know. Seemed like, I don't know, figured I'd call it a feeling.
They could represent somebody very powerful. This meeting will certainly be more dangerous than we thought.
Did you
Well,
really
given
think
our-
it wasn't going to be dangerous?
Oh, of course it was going to be dangerous, but they are representatives of the Feywild.
Does anyone have any idea who this Fey person could be?
I will say the rest of you would likely have to roll Arcana checks rather than history checks. Anybody who wants to?
You should get different dice. 13.
15.
28.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Do you want to use these
Juniper,
ones?
you
Nah.
suspect that given they were unwilling to tell you who their patron was, it is likely that it is a member, and a fairly high up member, of the Unseelie Court.
Oh, I remember that.
So, not the nicest Fae.
So, are we staying put or are we...
Well, Juniper's right. We should probably do some business stuff while we're here, but maybe not when our friend is maybe in danger.
It would not be fair to leave Elsie in the lurch, and I do not think the merchants would take kindly to me peddling our wares. I am happy to stay and wait, if you would like.
The question is, what happens if we wait for a long time?
And I am the fastest to come and find the rest of you.
What about Truffle?
I can only hope that Vigo is looking after him.
So, wait, we're going to leave my sister in a building that seems to have swallowed her so we can pretend to go and sell beer.
Well, you can go in if you want.
If I'm going in, you're all coming in with me.
It's not been that long yet. It's a big build, but it's a big building, and we know that it has many, many floors and goes all the way down potentially to the foundations of this whole floating thing.
So what, we're just going to wait whilst she goes all the way to the bottom, but could be captured at any moment?
That was the plan.
Just, why did we give the gauntlet to somebody who was going inside and not keep it for us so we could communicate?
So that they could find each other, I guess.
Yeah, but we now have no idea what's going on.
Yes, that is...
Did we see which doors they took in?
Yes.
We did.
They took the northmost and southernmost middle doors.
Well,
Yeah.
I say we give it another while when we definitely think that they would be back by that point, and then we go in.
How long is a while?
Maybe an hour and a half.
Roll a persuasion check.
That's the second worst roll. 11.
The DC was 10.
I rolled a 2.
Fine, but I'm not happy about it.
I know.
And you see, as she starts to walk away, her chin jut out more and more, almost to the point where she clearly can't be looking forwards.
I am sensing we might have upset her.
You're getting better at this, bird boy.
I did not know you could hear. I think we might have upset you.
I heard you the first... Oh.
Elsie did go to rescue her from Neverwinter. You can understand she might want to repay the favor.
It's a shame I don't have any magic that, detects things.
To be honest, given the nature of the building, I doubt much in the way of magic would probably work.
What, because it has loads of doors?
Well, if it is as full to the brim with magic items as we potentially expect, then I doubt they would have much in the way of material defenses.
So, are you walking away?
I figured we would stay here since it's...
Okay.
Well,
as you watch then, you see the two half-elves apparently drawing straws, and then the male seems to lose and then starts almost singing a rhyme to himself, but you can't hear what the rhyme is, and then picks a door to go through.
Is it the same door that either of the others took?
No, it is on the side of the building, the left-hand side.
So they're going in separately?
He's going in on his own.
Right.
Enna seems to be waiting outside near the building. Elsie, you've been in this room for some time now. The faces are flashing, and you're just starting to notice that the gap between them flashing is getting incrementally shorter, to the point that the images are now imposed on your eyes. It feels like they've been burnt there. When you close your eyes, you can see them.
Okay.
It's not painful, it's just irritating.
Yeah. And I imagine by now I would be very irritated. So I don't have to look at the faces anymore. I'm just going to be leaning against the wall that they're appearing on, like looking away.
Okay, you notice a very faint light that you didn't notice before on the opposite wall of wings, just constantly glowing, not flashing, which is why it didn't catch your attention before, but angelic wings.
Well, that's new. I go over to the wings.
Okay, as you approach them, they start to open and then flap towards the ceiling.
Did they just go to the ceiling, or did they carry on, or?
Once they hit the ceiling, they fade out and then start the sequence again.
Another repeating thing. I've got no way of getting higher. So now that those wings have appeared, I've not noticed that there's anything else going on that I've not seen previously.
Roll a perception check. Well, I say this is maybe an investigation, actually, because you're looking more deeply at the room.
I would prefer perception, but dirty 20.
There are no more lights, but as you look at the wall, you notice that there are markings in the stone, and they're too patterned to be a mistake. Looks almost like faint writing.
Do I have any parchment with a pencil?
I'd say you probably would have, yeah.
Okay, so I get out the parchment, I lean it against the wall, and do the rubbing thing.
You'd likely have charcoal as part of your disguise kit,
Yeah,
I would say. You could
to try and see if that illuminates what the writing might be.
Okay, yeah, I will say that you do that fairly handily. What languages do you speak?
Common, Gnomish, and Thieves' Cant.
It is in none of those languages, unfortunately. It's writing. You can understand that it's writing, but not in any language that you speak.
Darn it. This is where it's just going to be like dwarfish, and I'm like, for fuck's sake. Okay, well, I go, well, this might be useful at some point, so I put it away. So if I remember correctly, when I got angry, the angry face got angrier.
No, it's just as time passed,
Okay.
the expressions grow more intense and more grotesque. And at this point, they've stopped growing more, but they are very warped.
So there's the light at the top of the ceiling. Then there's the two faces, and then now there's the angel wings, but there's nothing else.
No.
Is the room particularly dark, or?
No, it doesn't seem to be, which is weird. The light from the top and the light from the glowing symbol seems to illuminate it enough.
Okay. Probably something that I'm blatantly missing. But... So the faces are inside the wall, not on the wall, because when I whacked it, that didn't do anything. So the wings are cycling. They go to the bottom, and then they work their way back up. Yeah.
They don't phase back down. When they get to the top, they fade out.
They disappear, yeah. I walk over to the wings, and when they reappear at the bottom, they are two, one wing one side, one wing the other. Yeah. I put one hand on each of the wings.
You can't grip them. The light is...
Yeah, no, but as in where they are.
Okay. You feel a warm sensation. But as you hold them, the wings pause in place for a moment, and you feel that warm sensation grow a little bit. It's almost like even through this frustration, you're happy, and then the wings start to phase through.
Okay.
And the feeling fades again.
Maybe I'm approaching this all wrong. Maybe I'm trying to figure out something that doesn't need to be figured out, and I just need to enjoy where I am. Ah, what a lovely room this is. It's so nice to see these faces that just keep on appearing. It makes me feel like I'm not alone.
No change.
I thought that would work.
I mean, I'd say it would be easier if we were all there, but...
The rest of you, it's been another half hour.
Still an hour to go.
Like, the exit door is literally just fastest route. The building's not intimidating at all. It's just puzzle and Elsie.
I feel like this is one of those moments where it's in a show and it will just keep on cutting between the two rooms. And they're just out there like, and I'm just in the room like, oh, surely my disguise has stopped now because it's been longer than an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of curiosity, I want to see... So my disguise self still worked when I was in the building.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cast Firebolt at one of the faces because I want to just see if it works as it should.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Doesn't do any damage. Doesn't damage the stone.
Okay, so magic isn't different. What's the point of having you if I can't even talk to you?
There's someone there.
Hello?
Hello?
Who are you?
Where are you?
I'm in a room with some really annoying faces.
Right. I'm in a very brightly lit room. Can't really see anything.
You're not the person I was hoping to talk to. Not that that's a bad thing, but so
Are you
you're in a
friends-
very bright room.
Are you friends with a little dog by any chance?
Yeah, Juniper.
Right. So you are lost in here then.
Well, I hoped I was trying to not be lost, but it's probably been a while. I've lost all concept of time.
Right. Are you not in a brightly lit room then?
No, I'm in a black room.
Right. Can you see any light?
Yes, in the ceiling, but I can't get to it.
In the ceiling. Right. Okay.
Do you have any darkness in your floor?
No, but I can't really see the floor.
Oh,
So maybe I'm above you?
possibly.
But you say there's a hole in the ceiling.
Look, yeah, like from what I can see, I shot an arrow at it and it didn't really do anything.
Can you shoot an arrow at it now?
I'll give it another go,
Okay.
and I'd do that.
Okay. You shoot the arrow up. It clatters. Right, I heard that.
Oh,
So, right, I'm gonna try and walk towards the hole that I can't see. But if I fall, it's fine.
But- I was in a different room previously where there was glass and things could break. So,
Right, I was never in that room.
yeah, but you might be able to break through the floor or break
But-
something.
But your arrow seems to have gone through, so maybe if I
Ah,
try and find the hole,
yes.
I might be able to see the room without coming into your room.
Oh, I've got, oh, not that it probably helps, but I'm going to wave some fire towards the hole.
Right, I can't see anything but light, so that's probably not going to help me.
Okay, I won't do that then.
Just
Who are you?
Oh, sorry. My name's Lucan.
Oh, hello. I'm Elsie.
Nice to sort of meet you, Elsie.
Yes. Why are you alone?
Because my good-for-nothing sister sent me in here on my own.
Well, my good-for-nothing sister sent me in here too, so I know the feeling.
Right, so at least we've got something in common. We're both lost,
Yes.
and we have dreadful sisters. Wonderful.
Yes. Try and... Oh, no, I'm not going to finish that sentence. I was going to say try and find my hole, but...
Oh, God. Well, I was already searching for the hole, but I don't think I could... Ah! And this body suddenly flips through the light. There is a shadow as a half-elvish lands. Can you make a dexterity saving throw? Because presumably you're right beneath the hole, because that's where you shot the arrow.
Yes. 26.
You manage to dodge out of the way of the flailing limbs, and as Lucan falls, somehow, despite the fact that it was clear that he fell quite hard through this hole, not having seen where it came, manages to flip himself into a three-point landing, forearm down, knee down, and one leg behind. Doesn't seem at all injured from the fall.
I look at him for a second and tentatively poke him. Like, are you real?
Yes, I'm real. Don't... Ow.
Okay, so I'm now confused because I thought I was talking to you through this, but could you just hear me?
Yes, because I was in the room upstairs.
Okay, that makes
Was
more
that
sense.
not clear?
No, I thought I was talking to you through this magical bracelet
No,
that
that's
actually
why-
talks to a metal bird.
Right. Okay. I'm from the Feywild. This is not weird to me. I'm from the Feywild. This is not weird to me. Continue.
Well, welcome to my eternal darkness and my impending doom.
Right, this is a pretty weird place. What's with the flashing lights?
Yeah, angry face, happy face. They've got more angry and more happy. There's angel wings over there that go to the ceiling. I thought if I touched them, they may take me upwards, but they don't.
Right. Anything else other than the creepy?
There was the light in the ceiling, which you fell
Yeah,
through.
I got that part. Yeah.
That's kind of it. I can't really see. Oh! Can you read this?
That appears to be Sylvan. It's Fey language.
Well, you said Feywild. Surely you can read this if you're clever.
I can. I was getting to that, but it doesn't make much. Any happy little thought.
Jinn. And I look around. Have
As
done anything?
you think of Jinn and the very many vague memories you have of the adventures that you have had under the influence of said alcohol.
Oh, she said Jim.
Oh.
And I was like, who's Jim?
I did initially think that she said Jim as well, and then I realised
The many memories.
you just
Jim, my past
Alright.
lover.
My
Just-
many adventures under the influence of Jim.
You just feel your feet lift a little bit off the floor.
Oh, think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts.
Think of a wonderful thought.
And just as the few memories cycle through, you don't really fixate on one,
Mhm.
and you gently come back down to the ground.
Okay. Think of a happy thought, a really happy thought,
Right, why?
because I think it may just get us out of here.
That's good enough for me. Okay, just think about it.
Yes, I don't think you need to say it, but
Well, I wasn't going to say it to you. A few moments pass.
The two most depressed people in the whole world.
Right, it's not really working for me.
no. Is it because you're not happy?
Thank you for pointing that out. Do you want to try again?
Okay, yes. I think of happy thoughts.
What
I
happy
think
thoughts do you think of?
I think of myself, Maud, and Esther as small children playing on the ship.
As you think this thought, that strange feeling that you had when you touched the wings returns to you in full force. And like a cork out of a bottle, you shoot up into the light.
Ah!
As you go, you hear a, right, so, feck it, I'm on my own again.
I'm
Great.
sorry!
You do not find yourself in a room filled with light. You find yourself in a long tunnel. Again, your perspective shifts, but this time rather than an inverse of the gravity, it just
Mhm.
turns on a right angle, and it's less disorientating this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a tight tunnel in width, but the height is not a problem, and it doesn't cut into your head or anywhere near it. A
Mhm.
sized humanoid could probably fit through there. It's not lit in a conventional sense. There's a similarity, but it's not exactly the same to the caverns in Keybridder's home, Juniper's father.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a more igneous light. There is a orangey red, as if of lava. to this.
Okay. Is it possible to walk both ways or just one way?
The way behind you is very dark, and you can just see the occasional flashes in the same color as the symbols that you saw in the room below.
Well, I don't want to go that way then. So I get out my fire starter just so I've got a bit more light. And I make my way down the corridor.
Okay. As you start to walk down the corridor, just at the edge of hearing, strange choral note starts to sound. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Don't follow the music.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for playing. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. And everybody wants to say bye. Say bye.
Bye bye bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.